the northern Syrian town of Jinderes, a place where Kurds and Arabs once lived in harmony. Now, much of it has been razed to the ground. A few years ago, it was overrun by the YPG. Then, last week, the Turkish military and Free Syrian Army moved in, and the YPG fled. Jinderes is one of the latest towns in the Afrin region to be cleared of the group as part of Operation Olive Branch. The capture of Jinderes was a significant gain for the Turkish military and the FSA, because not only is it a major town in Afrin region, there's also a highway that runs directly from here to Afrin city itself. Now the Turkish military and the FSA have full control of that road. The few people who remain here recall what life was like under the YPG.
If you didn't have a son, they would come for your daughters. My daughter was a widow. She'd been surviving by begging. The YPG demanded she go with them. She refused. I had to hide her and my other daughters.
Fatma Bashtash told us the YPG hid weapons behind her house. Her daughter was killed in the crossfire. Her body still lies under the rubble. She left behind 2 sons, who Fatma now looks after.
These 2 boys are now left without a mother. What am I going to do with them? They're left on the street.
Like Fatma, others here are surviving on the food they managed to store away. Their homes have been destroyed, and they have nowhere to live. They tell similar stories about the YPG.
There was no bread, or only a few loaves were circulated. Many children got sick, but we didn't have any money to treat them.
The YPG took over many of the houses in Jinderes. They didn't just live here, they also used them as bunkers. They found ways to move around without being detected and built cellars to take shelter in during air raids. The YPG caused destruction throughout this entire town. They would base themselves in some of these houses, and when they wanted to move from house to house, rather than use the main road, they would break the walls, just like the one I've just been through, so that they would be able to pass undetected by drones. We saw evidence of just how vigilant the YPG was when we travelled to the outskirts of the town. These fortifications were originally built by the Syrian regime. The YPG extended them and added observation towers. But in the end, none of this was enough. The group fled the advancing Turkish military and FSA, who now plan to rebuild all of Jinderes. But first, there are more pressing concerns. All of Jinderes is littered with mines, planted by the YPG just before they fled. Much of the town centre has been cleared using metal detectors and trained sniffer dogs, but large areas remain unsearched. For now, the FSA is providing security inside the town. Its fighters told us capturing Jinderes was easier than they had expected.
The Turkish army's preliminary shelling was excellent. The FSA and the Turkish army were in the front. The YPG were running away like rats. If they thought of attacking us, they will find fighters ready to confront their attacks. They are weaker than we thought.
Many residents seem to have welcomed the Turkish army and the FSA. But it will be a long time before life returns to how it once was. Chowdhury, The Newsmakers, in Jinderes, northern Syria.